Shoo. It's time now to settle in. Let the world around you grow soft and quiet. Let your shoulders drop, just a little. Your jaw unclenches. And your breath, like the evening wind, grows slower, deeper, softer. The room you're in fades gently, and in its place, something older appears. Something distant, yet familiar, like the echo of a lullaby half-remembered from childhood. There is no rush now. Just the quiet rhythm of your breath, and the gentle call of a nighttime tale. So nestle into your pillow. Let your hands rest where they're warm. And listen, very softly, as the story begins. Our story tonight sets sail on the wings of dusk. In a land of mist-wrapped hills and crooked stone paths. Where the air smells of heather and cold iron. And the sky, oh so vast above, begins to blush with the first kiss of stars. There, tucked beneath the shadow of a moss-covered keep, lies a long stone mews. A quiet haven where falcons sleep on their perches. And their keeper tends to them in silence. They call him the Dreamkeeper. No one remembers his real name. Only that his voice is always low. That his steps never startle the straw. And that at night, under the gentlest light of a silver lantern, he whispers dreams into feathers. He is a falconer, yes. But something else, too, something older. The villagers say he speaks the language of the birds. That he can calm even the wildest of them. With a hand that smells of lavender and earth. And a voice like smoke from a fire that never burns too hot. It is late now. The kind of late where even the candle flames are nodding off. You are there too. Invisible, like the wind. Standing at the edge of the mews, watching the Dreamkeeper move. The falcons rest on their wooden perches. Tall, hooded, proud. There are kestrels with burnt orange feathers. And peregrines with storm-gray eyes. Each one a noble creature, once flown for kings and queens. Now gently dozing under the Dreamkeeper's watch. The mews smells like hay and old wood. The stone beneath your feet is cool, but not cold. And through the wide, arched windows, the moonlight spills in like milk from a jug. Soft, slow, silver. The Dreamkeeper moves from perch to perch, carrying a small pouch of ground herbs. Chamomile, marjoram, dried apple rind. These he lays beneath the talons, so that their dreams will be sweet. And the night, gentle. As he works, he speaks, not in words you or I might use, but in tone, in hush, in the rhythm of bedtime wind. Falconry, in the old days, was not just a craft. It was an honor. Only the noble were permitted to keep these birds. Laws in some kingdoms even decreed which ranks could own which birds. An earl might keep a peregrine. A knight, a saker hawk. A king, the rare and regal gerfalcon. And yet, the Dreamkeeper is no nobleman. Just a man with weathered hands, and eyes that have seen too many winters. Yet he walks among them like a prince. And they, these proud, ancient birds, bow their heads as he passes. Tonight, there is a new bird in the mews. A young falcon, barely more than a fledgling. Her wings are long and clumsy. Her eyes, wide with wonder. The others doze. But she shifts. Uncertain. The Dreamkeeper sees this. He says nothing, only walks to her slowly. And rests one hand on the smooth curve of her breast. Shoo. He whispers. Not with lips. But with the very weight of his presence. Shoo. The skies are wide. And you are safe here, beneath the moon. There is no need to fly tonight. Only dream. He opens a small leather book, filled with quiet sketches of feathers, wings, clouds. And as he turns its soft, aged pages, he hums a tune. It is a tune no one remembers. Not even the birds. But it feels like home. It feels like warm bread and cool moss. Like a stream winding softly through trees that bend in peace. The falcon's eyes close. The muse grows still again. Only the wind, soft and kind, moves now. And the stars, one by one, blink into the sky above. You stand there a little longer. Listening to the hush between wings. To the rustle of hay as it settles. To the breathing of birds who once pierced the heavens with talons outstretched. Now dreaming of skies they will one day claim again. And slowly, without effort, you feel yourself becoming lighter. Like a feather drifting down. Like a thought without weight. Like a story slowly ending, not with a period, but with a breath. Night deepens now. The stars have multiplied. Spilled across the sky like soft white seeds on black velvet. The kind of sky that invites silence. The kind that hushes even thoughts. Far below that starlit dome. The keep slumbers behind ivy-covered stone. Its battlements quiet. Its watchmen nodding gently in the torchlight. But here, in the muse, the Dreamkeeper still moves. Quiet as snowfall. Tending his sacred flock. He has lit a lantern now. One made not of glass, but of thinly beaten horn. As was once the way in medieval times. When horn was softened with steam and pressed until it shone like moonlight trapped in a bottle. The lantern's glow is amber soft. Casting long, slow-moving shadows across the falcon's feathers. Turning their plumage to gold and copper and pearl. He walks to the far end of the muse. Where a single perch stands slightly apart. Here rests the oldest falcon in the keep. A solemn bird named Brannock. He has flown in 5 tournaments. Soared above 2 winter sieges. And once delivered a message across enemy lines when no horse could pass. His beak is notched with age. His feathers grayed with wisdom. And yet he still watches, still listens. The Dreamkeeper approaches with reverence. He bows, not deeply. But enough to honor the spirit of an old companion. In the time of lords and banners. A falconer's bond with his bird was sacred. Some falconers were buried with their gloves and hoods. Tokens of loyalty that outlasted even kings. Tonight, Brannock will not fly. But the Dreamkeeper will sit beside him. On a low wooden stool worn smooth by years of waiting. He opens a pouch. Inside it, 3 raven feathers. A twist of dried thyme. And a tiny bell, no bigger than a thimble. Its chime as soft as a heartbeat. These he lays at the base of Brannock's perch. A ritual, old as the stones. Not for summoning. But for remembering. For honoring the flights that shaped the sky. He speaks now. Not to you. Not to Brannock. But into the air itself. As though the rafters are listening. Tonight, he whispers. You will dream of the long thermals over the coast cliffs. Of the wind rising like a tide beneath your wings. And the scent of salt on the air. He closes his eyes. You do too, without meaning to. Because the words carry you. So gently. Like wings brushing your temples. You will chase the sun's shadow across the water. He says. And dive. And dive. And dive. Each word is lower than the last. Sinking like a lullaby stone into a still pool. You find yourself imagining it, too. You are in the sky now. The kind of dream sky only falcons know. A height so high that even the wind seems to whisper. Far below, the land curves gently. Patches of forest, rivers like ribbon. Villages sleeping under their thatched roofs. You soar. Without effort. Without weight. You follow the warm updrafts. The same medieval falconers once studied from castle towers. Their eyes tracking invisible highways in the sky. The Dreamkeeper knows them all. Not by sight, but by feeling. Back in the mews, he pulls out a tiny brush made of horsehair. He gently begins combing the edges of Brannock's wings. Not for grooming, but to ease the joints. Soft circles. Tiny strokes. One feather at a time. The brush makes no sound. Only the hush of peace. Of being cared for in the quiet of night. You notice the way the lantern flickers now. Casting gentle halos on the wooden beams. It almost feels like the muse is breathing. In and out. Slow and warm. So are you. The falcons stir slightly. But none wake. One chirps softly in sleep. A tiny, trilling sound. Like a dream remembered. Outside, the wind picks up. But only gently. Like the tide at its sleepiest hour. The Dreamkeeper rises. He checks every perch again. 24 falcons tonight. Each with their hood. Their tether. Their cushion of hay and herbs. Each one. Dreaming. He walks to the arched window now. And opens it just a crack. The night air rushes in, cool and sweet. It smells of pine. Of distant rain. Of the faraway mountains no one visits anymore. You breathe it in too. Imagining you are in that muse. Wrapped in a cloak. Safe from the world. Watching a man care for creatures. Too proud to ask for help. But still grateful when it is given. The Dreamkeeper leans on the stone sill. He watches the stars. He does not speak. But in that silence, something shifts in you. A deeper kind of calm. A rest you didn't know you needed. This isn't just a story. It's a pause. A turning of the page inside you. Into a quieter chapter. One where breath and sleep and silence are all that matters. There is something timeless about a stone window at night. No matter how many years pass. How many voices echo through the keep. How many kings rise and fall. The stars. The wind. The hush. Always return. And so the Dreamkeeper stands in that window. Just breathing. He listens not for danger. Not for footsteps. But for the subtle music of peace. The kind of silence that only comes when everything that needs tending has been tended to. Behind him, the falcons rest in orderly rows. Like sleeping knights after a long campaign. Their hoods are snug. Crafted from soft leather dyed with walnut ink. Each one hand-stitched. Each one a quiet promise. You are safe now. You may dream. In the medieval world. A hood was more than a blindfold. It was trust. It was surrender. And the Dreamkeeper. He wears no armor. No badge of office. Only a deep blue cloak. Faded with time. And lined with down. The same cloak he's worn. For nearly 30 winters. He turns from the window now. And walks toward a low table. Beneath a hanging bunch of dried lavender. There sits a clay bowl. Filled with warm milk steeped in honey and nettle root. An old falconer's trick. Not for the birds. But for the Dreamkeeper himself. He drinks it slowly. One hand cupped around the warmth. The other still stained faintly with hawk dust and oil. You might notice the soft clink. As the bowl meets the wooden table again. A sound that settles deep. Like a stone in a well. Cool and round. He closes his eyes. For a moment, nothing moves. Even the flames hold their breath. Then he begins to hum again. It's the same tune he used for the young falcon earlier. But slower now. Lower. Each note drawn out. Like ink across parchment. You can almost feel it. Vibrating softly in your chest. Tugging at sleep from somewhere deep behind your eyelids. It is not a lullaby. Not really. It is older than that. A hymn, perhaps. From when the world was quieter. And dreams came on horseback. He pulls from beneath the table a roll of soft parchment. And begins writing. Not with a pen. But with a stylus. Scratching gently into wax. Each falcon has a name. Each name has a dream. And he records them all. He writes. Brannock dreamed of the cliffs at Carwin again. Ash, the first snowfall. Caught a mouse made of frost. Mira flew alongside the moon. There are dozens of entries. Short, soft, strange. But to the Dreamkeeper, they are sacred. He believes that dreams are not just fragments of sleep. They are messages from the sky. Whispers from the falcon's ancestors. Passed down on invisible winds. Outside, a breeze stirs the ivy on the keep walls. A slow, sighing sound. Inside, the lantern flickers again. And the Dreamkeeper rests his hand on the book of dreams. Just for a moment. As if to feel the pulse of the night through it. You are still there. Watching from the edges of the muse. Though your breath is deeper now. Slower. Your eyelids heavier. You may feel the straw beneath your boots. Or the cool air on your cheek. But more than anything. You feel the stillness. The quiet satisfaction. Of a task well done. Of creatures cared for. Of night unfolding just as it should. He rises. He walks once more through the rows of perches. A final check. One bird shifts in sleep. Another rustles its wings. But none wake. He sprinkles a final pinch of calming herbs. Rose hips, chamomile. A tradition from the monasteries. Where monks used to hang dried flowers. Near the dormitories to guard against bad dreams. Not superstition. Just care. The kind of care that shapes rest. Into something holy. He reaches the last perch. The young falcon. The one with curious eyes. She stirs slightly as he approaches. He doesn't speak. He simply unlaces the pouch at his belt. And withdraws a single white feather. Wrapped in twine. He tucks it gently beneath her tether. Not for flight. For dreams. There is an old belief. Rare, forgotten. That if you gift a bird a feather not her own. She will carry the memory of flight. Even in sleep. The muse is quiet now. Even the wind seems satisfied. The Dreamkeeper walks slowly. Toward the heavy oak door. He lifts the latch. And steps out into the moonlight. The sky greets him. Not with noise. But with open arms. Above him, an owl glides soundlessly across the keep. A reminder that the night still watches. That dreams still fly. He walks along the frost-silvered path. Back toward his small stone cottage. Set slightly apart from the rest of the keep. Its hearth still glows. Its windows fogged with sleep. He opens the door. And the warmth embraces him. He does not speak. He only removes his cloak. Rubs his hands with lavender oil. And lowers himself onto the woolen mattress. That waits like a meadow for his rest. Outside, in the muse. 24 falcons. Dream of sky. And somewhere in the space between dreams and dawn. You are flying, too. Weightless. Peaceful. held. Sleep does not come all at once. Not even for the Dreamkeeper. It arrives like fog over a valley. Gradually, gently, without edges. He lies on his side, facing the small hearth that crackles quietly. Its flame no higher than a curled finger. A single copper pot hangs over the coals, still warm with the remnants of thyme broth. The scent, earthy, familiar, curls in the air like a whispered memory. Above the hearth hangs a row of tiny bells, each one collected over a lifetime. One from a ruined abbey. One from the collar of a noblewoman's hawk. One that once hung from the harness of a royal messenger. None ring tonight, but they shimmer softly in the firelight, like stardust forged into metal. On the wall opposite the fire, a faded tapestry hangs. It tells no grand tale. No dragons, no wars. Just a quiet scene. A boy, a bird, a sky without end. The thread has dulled with time, but the story remains. And perhaps, in some forgotten way, it was always this story. Your story. Tonight's story. The Dreamkeeper breathes slowly now. One hand rests near his chest, the other curled beneath a woven pillow. His face softens. Not in sleep yet, but in surrender. There is nothing more to do. The muse is silent. The birds are resting. The stars have taken up the watch. And you, dear listener, you are drifting, too. You may feel it as a warmth behind your eyes, or the gentle hum in your chest, or the way your limbs have begun to lose their edges, softening into the mattress below. You are not alone. You are in the room, with the fire, and the tapestry, and the dreams. And above you, the owl still circles, keeping time. Let us return once more. Not to the Dreamkeeper's cottage, but to the muse. To the place where wings are folded, and feathers rise and fall, with the rhythm of breathing. The falcons do not dream like we do. They see no faces, hear no voices. They dream in movement, in arcs of wind, in silent dives, in the memory of muscle. Brannock, the old one, dreams of the mountain pass, where he once soared ahead of an armored party. He remembers the crunch of snow beneath hooves, the shout of horns behind, and the clarity of air at that height. But in the dream, the journey never ends. He just flies, with no weight on his talons, no signal to return. Only sky, and more sky, and the sound of wind brushing ancient feathers. Underscore 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 underscore. Mira, the fledgling, does not dream of war. She dreams of meadow flights, the smell of sagebrush and warm hay, the glitter of dew beneath her as she hovers, still uncertain how to land. In her dream, she never lands. She simply floats, held aloft by unseen currents, as if the world itself wishes her to remain weightless, as if gravity forgot her name. And you find yourself caught in their dreams, too. Not as a watcher, but as a fellow flyer. Your thoughts become lighter. Your heartbeat, more distant. The ground, irrelevant. Because up here, there is only the hush of air, the distant glint of moonlit hills, and the occasional cry of a night bird, reminding you, You are not alone in the sky. Far below, the keep sleeps on. Its great stone walls still warm from the sun long set. The villagers in their cottages. The stables with their gentle horses. Even the hounds in the outer yard. All quiet now. But in the dreams of falcons. And perhaps in yours too. The world is awake in another way. Lit not by flame. But by memory. Alive not in motion. But in meaning. This is the hour between hours. The monks used to call it lauds. The time before first light. When prayers were softest. When even time itself seemed to hold its breath. The Dreamkeeper stirs now. Not fully waking. But shifting beneath his wool blanket. He hears, distantly, the cry of a falcon. In its dream. He smiles. Though his eyes remain closed. The birds are flying tonight. Even if only in sleep. And that is enough. Outside, the first trace of silver appears on the horizon. Not quite dawn. Just its whisper. The fire is low. The lanterns dim. And the bells above the hearth. Still silent. But everything is exactly as it should be. The falcons rest. The Dreamkeeper dreams. And you are safe. Held in this moment. Cradled by story. Wrapped in a blanket of medieval hush. And feathery breath. You may drift now, if you haven't already. Deeper still. No need to think. No need to rise. Just float. Softly. Silently. Like a falcon. In a dream. There is a moment. Just before true dawn breaks. When even the birds do not stir. Not a chirp. Not a flap. Not a single feather moved. The whole world holds still. It's as if sleep itself has curled into the corners of the muse. And refuses to leave. Even time. Ancient and patient. Waits. The Dreamkeeper remains asleep in his cottage. His breath slow and even. Like the tide in its final pull. The fire is now just warm ash. A faint glow behind the iron grate. But the room is still warm. The kind of warmth that comes not from heat alone. But from knowing that everything is at peace. And still, in the stone muse. The falcons sleep. One by one, the soft hush of their feathers rises and falls. In centuries past, these birds might have been awakened with fanfare. For battle, for hunt, for message. But not tonight. Not in this forgotten keep. Not under the Dreamkeeper's care. Tonight is for rest. And nothing else. There's an old falconer's tale. Rarely told aloud. That when a bird dreams true, it flies through a sky no longer bound by distance or time. It sees not just the land below, but the memories of it. Old castles long crumbled. Farms grown wild. Lovers who waited at tower windows. And whispered to passing wings. In the dream sky, all things remain. The birds remember them. And tonight, perhaps, you do too. You are drifting now. Further still. You feel your breath deepening. Your limbs softening into the sheets. As if even your bones are ready to float. Let go now. The story will carry you. The wings are strong. The wind is kind. And the Dreamkeeper has not forgotten you. He stirs once more. Eyes still closed. And whispers in his sleep. Safe skies. Not to anyone in particular. Or perhaps. To you. To the birds. To the sky. To the morning that waits. But does not rush. A light wind curls through the crack beneath the cottage door. It smells of morning dew and green things. Of earth and mist. The wind wanders toward the hearth, lifting a single curled feather from the floor. It dances there. Weightless. Timeless. Spinning once. Twice. Then settling softly beside the fire. Like punctuation. At the end of a dream. In the muse, the youngest falcon stirs. Mira. The one who could not quite settle when first she arrived. She shuffles on her perch. Lifts her head slightly beneath the hood. And lets out the gentlest, briefest sound. A sound of contentment. Of belonging. She knows now that she is home. She will fly one day. Yes. Over fields and streams and stony valleys. But for now. She will dream. And the Dreamkeeper will be waiting. Each night. To whisper her next flight. Into being. Back in the cottage. The Dreamkeeper opens his eyes. The day is beginning. A faint rooster cry echoes from the far hill. And the hearth crackles softly, catching one last ember into flame. He rises slowly. Not with urgency. But with grace. This is a morning that deserves quiet. The kind of quiet you wear like a cloak. Woven from the night's dreams. He moves toward the basin to wash. The water is cold. He does not flinch. He dips a cloth. Presses it to his face. And breathes. Another day. Another flight. Another dream to carry. He walks to the window and opens the shutter fully. The sky is pale now. The color of parchment. Inked at the edges with lavender and rose. And somewhere in that sky. Something stirs. Perhaps a falcon. Just waking. Perhaps you. Yes. Perhaps you. Still half asleep. Still wrapped in this story. This world. But ready now. If not to rise. Then to drift gently from dream to dream. Knowing you were guided by the hand of one. Who whispers peace into feathers. And plants flight inside sleep. The Dreamkeeper steps outside. The wind greets him. The falcons wait. And the day, slow and golden, begins again. So rest now. And if you're not already asleep, you soon will be. The wings have carried you far. The sky has folded around you. And the Dreamkeeper, true to his name, will always be near. Just beyond the clouds. Just beneath your dreams. Just behind the hush of feathers at midnight. Good night. And may you dream true. Dove.